Welcome to the latest episode of the Behind the Scope podcast, which you might be listening to on Under the Scope. Just to give you a bit of an idea, this is a Patreon-exclusive podcast that myself and the Under the Scope editor, MrNiesGuy, do every month, where patrons donating $1 or higher have full access to, and if you donate $3 or higher, you can ask us a question, where we do sort of like a Q&A in the back half of the podcast. This first part, we've decided to record sort of like channel updates and things like that, since there's been a lot going on in the last month.
We hit 100K!
There you go. No point in beating around the bush, right?
Yeah, it's like, come on, just... Okay, no, I was going to
Just
go for a little
say
bit, but
it,
it's like, geez, it's like, do you have an essay written up there? Come on, we hit 100K! We're six-figure AniTubers.
That's right. We are important now.
Yes, we're special.
It's only a matter of minutes now before we let it go to our head.
Yeah.
If that hasn't already happened.
I have like 5 sponsorships lined up just for this one podcast alone. I don't know, pretty much just gonna be talking about My Hero Academia here going forward and stuff like that. Perfectly 10-minute long videos. I can't wait.
The thumbnails, get ready for neon text, big anime titties, and red flashing arrows.
Yes.
But yeah, 100K. It's honestly hard to find the words. I can genuinely say that when I first started doing this, I never in a million years would have considered this even a possibility.
You and me, basically, we started around the same time. We both basically, when I was still doing my own stuff, we were both like around the same sub count, like around 100, 200-ish.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we could both say like Arcada was like our biggest inspirations for starting YouTube, right?
Yeah, YouTube. I mean, that's pretty obvious with my early videos, right?
Yeah. If anything, I was kind of more of a Misty clone back in the day.
Yeah, you did top lists more.
Yeah. They were fun, and also like that was during a time when like I had literally 4 hours to make a video, so it was like, what can I just ad-lib? So that's what I was doing back then.
Right. And that's what our collabs ended up being, our first ones.
Which you took down the first one, which I'm kind of like, no, that was history.
Oh yeah, I've taken down a couple videos.
I know, but when I saw like the studio's video thing, I'm like, no.
They can still find it on your channel, but it's just such.
It's buried in a link.
Yeah, it's just such like, oh my god, some of the things I said are like full of misinformation now, and also like are opinions that I totally don't stand by.
That's the point. That's the point when you start off. You make your mistakes, then your videos are never good.
The point is that my early videos are just as likely to get searched for, through the algorithm. And now that I do have a platform of this size, like, oh sure, I made that when I had 100 subscribers and I didn't have a platform, but now I do, and so I don't want misinformation to be going out to that platform.
Please tell me. I'm gonna look right now. Please tell me you did not take down the strongest fate serpents list.
Nope, that one's still up.
Good. Because it's like if you took that down, I would be like, put it up right now. Put it back up.
No, because I mean that one's just dumb and bad. It's not full of misinformation. What's so funny about that now, though, is that most of the comments I see and oh my god, like I still get comments on that video daily, and most of the comments I see now are like, oh, how could you forget this servant from Fate Grand Order, this one. It's like,
the game didn't exist.
I made that video before the game existed in English. Like, complain about the choices. And I also explicitly said in that video that it was only based off of the anime, which at the time, the anime were really the only thing you had to go off of.
Yeah, it was just basically the 3 main shows, right?
Yeah, it was Fate Zero. It was just Zero and Stay Night.
Yeah, and Dean and maybe Carnival Phantasm. I think
it was pulling. I could pull from the UFO table, Unlimited Blade Works, or the Dean.
There was no
Fate.
extended universe by that point beyond Zero. Not this extended universe we have.
No, only with the like other visual novels like Apocrypha and Hollow Ataraxia and stuff. But those didn't have official releases in the West, and I haven't read any of them. So
yeah, it is funny with like older comments. Like we'll still get no matter what. Like, is your YouTube hooked up to your phone?
It is not, thankfully.
Okay. Yeah, no. Mine still is and stuff like that, so I'll still get comments like my older videos. The ones that get them the most are the Evangelion ones. So like, I'll still have people. It's kind of funny because it used to always be, God, the dub sucks. just for the old Evangelion dub, because like that's the footage I used. But like ever since Netflix came out, it's kind of like, I can respect what they did back then. You can tell it was never, it's been almost like, it's been interesting to watch just like the audience psyche slowly change when you realize, okay, this is what you get now. It's like, no.
Yeah, all of a sudden now it's like the comments are streaming in.
Yes. So now the old school dub doesn't sound that bad. ADV was actually not that bad, was it?
Right, now it's nostalgic. Yeah. Before it was dated.
Yeah. Now it's retro. Ooh.
Exactly.
So, you know what time it is, Jack. You've been saying it for years. You've been saying it for years that if we ever hit 100,000 subscribers, you would show your face. So,
yeah, that might have been one of those bargains where I said it because I wasn't sure that it was ever going to actually happen.
Okay, I mean, well, it
sort of walked myself into a corner there.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, hey, these people, these 100,000 lovelies, enough that if we all got them all together in one spot, we could officially start our own state. 100,000 people basically said, hey, we want to check this guy out.
Is that really how it works? When you put it that way, it is interesting because...
Yeah, legally, if we had 100,000 people in one spot, we could literally say, we could apply for statehood.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I knew that because that's how basically California became a state. Technically,
so
because
we
of the
would
gold
be the
rush.
UFO state.
Oh yeah, the UFO state. Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. The point is that I said that at 100K, I would finally do a face reveal. That's probably what you're here for, because I guarantee you I'm going to put that in the title of this podcast. So I guess, yeah, why not? Let's just do it. We're going to throw a picture up there. There you go. Editing magic.
You're a lot flatter than I expected, to be honest, when I met you.
Interesting. Yeah,
I was expecting some more curves, but I don't know.
You were expecting more floof? There's a lot of floof there. What are you talking about?
From one point of view.
In all seriousness, I guess we should also throw up a nice picture of the Under the Scope staff. Don't you think? A full staff picture.
Yeah. Look at them.
Under the Scope Incorporated. I really hate to disappoint everyone who follows me on Twitter, where I am known as Kumiko's Euphonium. It is true, I am not in fact a sentient euphonium. Yeah. That is top 10 anime betrayals.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. If I can just, as the audience surrogate right now, real quick, basically, what has it been, like 4.5 years you've been doing Under the Scope stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was April 24th, 2015. It was the first upload to Under the Scope. Which isn't available on YouTube anymore, thank you, copyright. God.
But I think one thing I want to ask is that, like, okay, if you could somehow just message yourself, I don't know, leave a comment on your first video 4.5 years ago to basically a very young Jack Johnson, still in college, just doing this for fun. No one knows the name, no one knows the name of the scope. Literally, Sound Euphonium doesn't even exist yet. I don't know. What would you tell that person? What would you leave that first comment as? What would you tell them?
If I had to tell my past self anything, I don't really know if I would change anything or like change any of the way that stuff happened. I mean, maybe I wish I had gotten into some of the style of content I'm doing now earlier, but I don't really think that's true either. Like, my first year of content, I think, was definitely very important in terms of finding my voice, in terms of writing style. Probably the number one thing would be don't make that terrible UFO video. Speaking of videos that I have taken down, that's the second one. The OG UFO review. You can gain access to by becoming a $500 patron.
If you basically
for the low price, bargain bin price.
If you want to hear Jack with a very poor mic and just very kind of like, this show's okay. I don't know. I don't really see the show ever being big and stuff like that. Doesn't really. It's kind of like open ended. I don't know. Just basically him sound like a parody of himself now.
Mm-hmm,
so
pretty much,
or more parody of me, I guess, at this point. But then, in basically the start of 2018, Nye then came on board. Basically, the start of the nice era. I'm not gonna ask you to like basically comment on me being here and stuff like that, but overall, just kind of, are you happy with the partnership?
Well, let's just say if you weren't here, we wouldn't be having this conversation about 100K.
I appreciate that.
At the time, I mean, I want to say at the time you came on, it was around 50 or so, probably.
You had just broken 60.
60. Okay.
You were like basically on the dot. So if we basically ever do a divorce, I get 40% of Underscope.
Oh, okay. Is that how it works? You get 40K of the subs.
Yes.
I don't know how you're going to determine which 40K. I'll give you the Monogatari subs.
No,
since you love it so much.
I don't want that audience. That audience can go.
Well, if I take the KyoAni audience and the Monogatari audience, there's like 10 people left.
Well, no, I'll take the Violet Evergarden specifics and stuff like that, because that show's going to keep going.
Fine.
So I can basically, I'll take that, and I'll take, I don't know, Pat Labor audience. Those are my people.
You can get that sweet, sweet Grimgar audience.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I just wanted to ask you, since like before and after me being here, there've been like two different just kind of like modes of just Thought-Scope. So it's like, what was your favorite video pre me being on here and basically post me being here?
That's a tough one. I would say pre you being on, it would be the Naoko Yamada video. That was kind of the first sort of like documentary style video that I wanted to make. And it was about the creator I'm obviously most passionate about, and who's had a tremendous impact on my life. And so to be able to spotlight her and talk about her career like that was really special and really fun for me. And I think that passion ultimately came out in the video. And that, I mean, honestly, that one's still like one of my very favorite videos on the channel, like over the entire time. And I think it was kind of also a turning point in the type of content and type of writing I wanted to do. So it was pretty formative as well. Other than that, the other big one for me is the UFO video, which technically you were on. Yeah, like we had done, like, before the UFO video, you came on. The first video you came on for was the awards video, 2017. Yep. And then I think we did one other video, that first Backlog Bop video on Yu Yu Shiki, I think it was.
No, that was
or was it Doremi?
No, it was Yu Yu Shiki. I got the two confused.
Yep. Okay, yeah. So it was Yu Yu Shiki, and then kind of while that was going on, I did the UFO video, scripted and edited the whole thing, but you did the end credits.
Yeah. Which basically, that's when you realized, oh shoot, Nice can make people cry. Hey, do this.
Exactly, yeah. It's funny because we did the exact same arrangement for the KyoAni letter video last month. But in terms of videos that you've edited, two that stand out to me are the Pat Labor video and the first Millennium Actress video.
Nice.
I think that you did a killer job with the editing and capturing both not only the script but also the feeling of those two films. And I also just think that in general, like, the topics that I was covering were pretty interesting. And I like the way that the script turned out. I think ultimately the point I was trying to get at came through. There have been a few times where I feel like I had a good idea or I believed in what I was saying, but it just, the way I wrote it wasn't as strong as it could have been, but that was not the case for those two. I think that it turned out well there, and your editing really brought both of them to life. So I'd probably lean towards those two. I know I'm forgetting something, though.
Violet.
Oh, yeah. Well, God, yeah, of course.
That is the one. Minus the Monogatari videos.
Yeah, no, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, that's the number one.
Yeah. Minus the Monogatari videos, which I just hate them because just the editing makes it so hard to, like, reverse make that for a video for copyright reasons. That was the one that I spent, like, I spent so many hours on that video. I would, because I had to basically remake a good chunk of it from scratch. I'd probably say close to 100 hours I did on that thing in total.
Yeah, I mean, from start to finish, that was like a 7 or 8 month process.
Yeah,
that was video.
That was a passion project of love.
Exactly. If you say that the process started when I decided I wanted to make it and started collecting information and researching, to when the video uploaded, you were talking like March or April to September, you know.
And we were just hoping the thing was going to break like 20K.
Yeah.
So the fact
it
fact that it was received as well as it was, it's like, thank you very much for that.
That was another thing, is that a lot of the times the videos that I'm most passionate about aren't necessarily the ones that perform the best, right?
Well, I mean, that's the thing and stuff like that. The whole what Under the Scope, I've at least me on it has felt like, at least, is that it's tried to basically prove that you don't have to always basically talk about the broader, basically the kind of like the My Hero Academias and stuff like that. Even though we could make a good video about that, or the Mob Psychos and stuff like that. Shows that are like really popular, that are broad, that everyone's making a video on real fast, Demon Slayer and whatnot. I feel like it's more precise. Even if it's not personal, it's just more precise. That's how I always kind of view it Under the Scope. That it's like, we're not going to be talking about the broad, we're going to be talking about the specific.
Right. Yeah, and honestly, that's probably the number one thing that I'm most proud of, is the fact that, we got here doing the things that I was passionate about.
Everything we did here was either you were very passionate about it, I was very passionate about it, or some combination of the latter.
Mm-hmm. It was something that we wanted to do. Like, I'm not saying that every last video is just like oozing with passion. Of course, that's the case.
Yeah, but it's like, it's one of the things where it's like, I don't know, whether it be the Bloom into Yous, or the Space Dandies, or the Utanas, things that just kind of maybe in the broad sea of things kind of get overlooked because they're not being talked about in the now. Like, I don't know, one of my personal favorite things, whether it be on this channel, Mother's Basement, Get in the Robot, or anyone else I work with, is just like when you're able to introduce something new to someone. And it's like always with seasonal stuff, it's always going to be new. It's always the fresh thing, but it's stuff like that. But when you can take a show that's older, and people can be like, hey, I've never even heard about this, but thank you, I want to check this out right now. Like that, those are always my favorite comments. That's like, I can take something that like you had no idea existed, and basically be like, hey, thank you, I'm gonna watch this now. Like you sold it to me.
Yeah,
those are always my favorite comments to read.
Absolutely, I agree. No, whenever I get a comment on a video on like a series that something I am passionate about, like UFO or Review Starlight, where the person is saying that they watched this show because of something I made, and now it's one of their favorites too. Like, that means the world to me, that I can use my platform to expose people to these things that I'm passionate about so that they can share in that passion as well.
I think it's just like the fact that we're kind of like sharing personal things and stuff like that, or personal, like, hey, I really enjoy this one. To which then other people check out, it's like, hey, I really liked it too. And it's not just always the thing that's constantly being talked about. It's more of the just kind of like, I don't know, we're sharing personal shows like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I know. I kind of like that's. I don't know. I'm very happy with the audience that we've amounted, basically.
Right.
I don't know. That's one of those things where it's like, that sounds so cheesy, because of course no one's going to be like, yeah, you guys are like a 7 out of 10. But really, it's like, you check the comments and stuff like that, almost all of them are positive, all of them are very, I don't know. You're praising, but not overly praising. You're talking about the show, you're talking about your own personal opinions with the show and stuff like that. I'm seeing people talk with each other, not just basically their own solo comments. Like, you can't ask for more. You really can't.
Well, and I've done videos where, maybe as a whole, the work isn't something that I'm like head over heels with. But maybe there's something that connected with me. And so I want to talk about that. And that's what I'll do. Now, one thing I do want to stress is that, like, I don't want to demean or downgrade, like, making videos with the idea of basically like, okay, this thing is popular, let me talk about it and get some attention.
You're
to
not.
my work. And it's like, because that's important, especially if you're a smaller channel, when it's basically a crapshoot as to whether you get eyes on your work or not. I don't really have any clue how it ended up happening for me. There's definitely an element of luck involved in getting noticed at first. But the growth was slow. I started in April of 2015, and
for a while there.
What'd you say?
Like, you and me were both going just kind of like back and forth for a while, but then it's like we both hit 1,000 subs, and then like YouTube just kind of like ran with you for a little while because you were doing those like weekly reviews.
Yeah,
which is like that was during time. That was still during the end, like the final year of like reviews being like you could still do reviews and stuff like that, being a constant like big thing.
That was making weekly content for a while. I didn't hit 100 subs until like 3 months, I want to say, 3 or 4. I think it was 3. Because I think I hit 100 pretty close to when you and I first contacted each other, when you reached out to me.
A lull in the sea. No, it was that. No, not that one. The PA Works one you did.
Yeah, that is Nagiyasu. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Nagiyasu, yeah. Yeah, no, basically I just typed in because I was doing this thing solo and it's like I want to meet people, so I literally just typed in anime and then I put to like last hour of upload and that's how I found your channel.
That was definitely right around when I hit 100 because I did that top 50 openings video as my 100 subscriber special thing. So yeah, so that was after like starting from April to that was in August, I think. And then at 6 months that October, I was at just over 500 subscribers. So that's 6 months of making near weekly content to 500 subs. My point in illustrating this is that don't let that discourage you, you know. The reason I was doing that wasn't for the growth at the time, it was just because I enjoyed doing so. And so as long as I continued to enjoy doing so, then the growth was just going to happen as it did, or if it did at all. Had I fallen out of love with making videos in the early stages, then I would have just stopped. And we definitely wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Just think, if I had decided after 3 videos that I was like, that this wasn't for me, and then I wasn't, you know, it was like, we never even would have met.
Oh, that's kind of
scary. So I think it is. No, it's very scary. Yeah. I think of all of the incredible friends that I've made through this channel. And even just on Twitter, even if it wasn't the channel directly that caused it, like the only reason I have any online presence at all is because of it. So the thought of not knowing any of those people is honestly frightening.
I can honestly say after knowing you for basically 4 years and stuff like that, I don't know. I'm glad you're around.
Feelings mutual.
Well, we've been kind of going on this thing for a little bit, so I think the last thing really to talk about is what's next for Under the Scope.
So one of the things that's going to be coming up soon is actually a Patreon-sponsored video from Calvin Atkinson about Eureka 7, a series that I have not seen to this point, although at the time of recording, I'm a little over halfway through watching it. I did tell Calvin that it's a pretty long series. It's like 50 episodes, and I'm notoriously bad at watching anime, as evidenced by the fact it's taken me like 4 years to get halfway through Monogatari. But
bad at watching long anime.
Very bad at watching long anime.
Yeah,
pretty bad at keeping up with short anime.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just that's the main reason.
Very true.
If this thing was like a one core, we would have had this thing done by now. But
absolutely,
it's 52 episodes. That takes time.
Mm-hmm. Which is, you know, but I'm enjoying the series so far. It's just that, yeah, I'm just slow.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you are.
So that'll be coming up soon. I have no idea what exactly the video is going to be on about yet. I need to actually watch the whole show first, but that's a thing that's going to happen. Other than that, expect more Monogatari content in the very near future.
Damn it.
Much to Nice's dismay.
For the record, if I didn't have to edit it, I probably would enjoy the show a lot more. But I do. And to basically make that show avoid copyright, that's a monster to take care of.
I will say, because I know that from our last Monogatari video, the one on Nautico Medusa, we got a lot of new eyes to the channel. And so a lot of you are probably here originally from that Monogatari content that I've done and are like twiddling your thumbs like, oh, well, when are you going to talk about that again? I have plans to cover every arc of the series the rest of the way. I can tell you that I have watched through the end of second season. So I do have plans for Shinobu Time, Hitagi End, another Hitagi End video, because I know I touched on that with the Nautico one, and Suruga Devil. So we will be getting to that. Just, again, I'm about as slow with getting to video ideas as I am with watching anime. But know that the next one up in the works is Shinobu Time, and I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to cover that. It was a little interesting to figure out exactly what I wanted to say because I have some conflicting thoughts about that arc. I'm not going to say what it is now just because I don't want to box myself into a corner, but that's also coming. And then another thing I wanted to mention was that at the time of recording, just yesterday, I got my Heaven's Feel Part 2 Lost Butterfly Blu-ray box set. So now that we actually have footage for that, I definitely want to cover that too, sometime over the next few months or so. Already covered the first one. I saw Lost Butterfly in theaters when it had its run earlier in the year, and it definitely had an effect on me. So there's a lot to potentially say there. I'm excited to rewatch it and really nail some of those thoughts down. But I'm excited for you to watch it too.
Yep, no, I'm gonna watch it either tonight or tomorrow. So I'll let you know how it goes.
Look, the channel, as long as we're talking about channel history, the channel's foundation is in Fate. So I feel like I gotta feed the Fate crops every now and then.
I want to make a Promare video really, really badly.
Really, really bad.
No, I saw it at AX with Isla. She knows what I'm talking about. Same with Mudon. Same with a few others. And, I know Weathering with You is going to be the big one when it comes stateside. And I know, that's going to be the big one when it comes out soon. But let me tell you something. Promare might just be the best anime film of the last decade.
Yeah, Nice was, when we were at AX, there was effusive praise when he got out of the screening. I didn't see it myself yet.
Yeah, because you were watching some girl give tea away or something, I don't know. But basically, the big thing was...
It was a Bisco Hatori panel, the mangaka of Ouran Host Club.
Yeah, that I don't know, yeah, whatever, tea. But no, it's... But yeah, no, I have never had that much fun. The only way I can explain without spoiling it for you guys is, okay, you know how a film builds up to the climax, Jackson? And how basically, it's meant to be by
I'm
the
aware
end.
of how that works, yes.
Okay. But basically it's okay, it's meant to be kind of okay, the first part, you kind of get introduced to it, then by Act 2, it's okay, you kind of get into it more and more, and the idea is by Act 3, by the time you get to the climax, you're on the edge of your seat, your heart's gonna maybe pump a little bit, and you're kind of oh, this is really good, and then when it finally happens, oh, it feels good. This is good, I like it, yeah?
Yes.
In a nutshell, this film is basically, yeah, we're gonna start with the climax, and just keep upping the ante. This is gonna sound weird, I know, but I had trouble breathing by the end of the film. I felt basically it felt like this film was choking me.
Yeah.
I've not had that much fun watching any anime in such a long time, and I can't say more without spoiling it, so it's in theaters in a few weeks. Please go out and watch it. That's all I can say right now without spoiling it.
The only other thing that I wanted to mention, and this is more of a tease, is that coming up sometime in the near future, over probably the next few months, there will be a video on shoujo coming out, talking about my favorite shoujo manga, from classics to a couple modern choices. So look forward to that. But also, in addition to that, there will be a special announcement regarding a major project in relation to that I've teased a couple times here and there. So at the end of that video, at the end of that first shoujo video, there will be something to look out for.
To elaborate, this is a project that Jack's been working on since before I even joined Under the Scope. It's his truest pet project that he can ever make. He's been talking about it for years. He's finally sitting down to finally properly write it. It'll be something, I'll put it that way. And you just have to wait and see. Trust me, I've been waiting to start this thing for years, just a little bit longer. Then you'll see what's all the mysteriousness is about.
I have had the idea and from the time I initially started looking into it has been over half the lifetime of the channel.
Yeah, but for now, is there anything else we want to say to the peoples before we kind of make this go Patreon exclusive?
There is one thing. I also recently started another podcast with a friend of mine from Twitter, Taylor. You can follow him at FateSteelTaylor. He also is a host on the R Anime podcast that is called the Football is Anime podcast, talking about soccer and anime and somehow finding a way to connect the two. we are in our recent episode, in a matter of like 5 minutes, we went from talking about the U.S. women's national team's World Cup championship to Ikuhara. So the conversations can go anywhere in between then. But if any of you out there have even a passing interest in soccer, I assume you have a passing interest in anime, you can follow us on Twitter at footballisanime. We currently have 2 episodes out, one that was kind of like an introduction thing and one that was built around the U.S. women's national team's World Cup victory. And now that the season has started back up again, we have more plans to keep going with that. So, yeah, if any of you out there are football/soccer fans, give us a listen. Check it out. But that's pretty much all I had to say about the updates and the plugs and the whatnot.
We could say a lot of things. We could honestly talk for an hour probably about just this channel and everything about it.
Newsflash, we literally will.
But if I had to say anything right now to the 100,000 of you listening to this, possibly.
Probably not. Probably the 10,000 of you that actually play.
Just come on. That's how you... It's never the millions watching at home. It's about maybe the 60,000.
That's fair.
Yeah, let's be honest. All right. No matter what, though, just thank you for making this channel just part of your lives. Thank you for basically reaching out to us, whether it be just in the comments, on social media, on Patreon, however you do it. Even though I've only been here for a few years myself on this channel, I can honestly say I am very honored to be a part of this community, and just very honored to be able to entertain you guys like we have been for these last 4+ years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to echo that, like, I can't say enough how much it means to me to have you guys care, you know, and to be able to share my voice with this fandom that means so much to me, anime fandom that means so much to me, to be able to share that with you and talk about the things that I'm passionate about. It's honestly something I wouldn't trade for the world, and I cannot say thank you enough. It doesn't even begin to cover it. All right, at this point, I think we're ready to transition to the Patreon exclusive portion of this podcast, which is going to be the Q&A. Now, normally the entire podcast is Patreon exclusive, but because of these important updates, we wanted to give you this first portion as well. If you want to watch all of these or listen to all of these podcasts in their entirety, then all you have to do is pledge to the Patreon. $1, I'm pretty sure, is the minimum amount, so that and anything higher is going to get you full access to both the current podcast and any of the previous ones. And then at $3 or higher, you can ask us a question. I make a post every month calling for questions that goes out to the $3+ patrons. And all you have to do is just comment on that post with your question, or send it to me anonymously if you'd rather do it that way. And we'll answer it in the next month's episode. So with that, transitioning to Patreon. Thanks everyone for listening to this point, and hopefully we'll see you over there.